Straight ahead on 12 News, construction season has arrived. We start with the long-awaited final stretch for one of the Northwest Metro's biggest projects. Plus, removing a barrier to getting a high school diploma. Then, it was invented here. Now there's a reminder of your grandmother's kitchen in Maple Grove. 12 News starts right now. Hello everyone, and thanks for joining us. After years of planning and waiting, the final stretch of Highway 610 construction begins this summer.
Today, MnDOT began construction of an interchange with 610 and Maple Grove Parkway. As a result, the parkway is now closed between County Road 81 and 99th Avenue. It's all part of the bigger project to extend 610 about 2.5 miles from County Road 81 to I-94.
There's a lot of bridges being worked on right now as we speak, and as the construction season gets started, which is usually more in the area of about May, then you'll start to see some of the pavements being constructed.
MnDOT says the new interchange at Maple Grove Parkway and the new 610 alignment will be open by the end of October.
Drivers should also be prepared for lane and ramp closures on Highway 100. Northbound Highway 100 is now down to 2 lanes between Benton Avenue in Edina and West 36th Street in St. Louis Park. The same thing will happen to the southbound lanes starting Thursday. The closures will allow MnDOT to repair pavement and be prepared for slowdowns. All lanes won't reopen until mid-July.
A frightening crash in a Plymouth neighborhood appears to be the result of a medical emergency. The driver of an SUV ended up on a walking path and went through a yard before slamming into the side of a garage of a home in the 6100 block of Fernbrook Lane. It happened shortly after 5 p.m. Sunday. Police say kids were playing in the street at the time and had to quickly get out of the way when the vehicle came barreling through. Fortunately, no one was injured. A townhome damaged by fire over the weekend in Plymouth won't be livable for some time. It happened Saturday evening in the 10,000 block of South Shore Drive. The Plymouth fire chief says the cause was traced to cooking. There was one person living at the townhome. A neighboring townhome sustained minor water damage.
Mail theft is becoming a problem in Maple Grove. Since January 1st, there have been 35 reported thefts from mailboxes in the city. The Maple Grove police are reminding residents to send important outgoing mail from the post office. Approximately half of the stolen mail has been general stuff, while the other half has been credit card related, which can lead to identity theft. The thefts have been occurring all over Maple Grove.
It's a difficult thing to try and police. It can happen very quickly in different times of the day or at night, and so we're asking people, don't leave your mail in your mailbox overnight or over a weekend or on vacations.
Maple Grove police also suggest that residents get a mailbox that locks or use a P.O. box. Research shows people who do not have a high school diploma make less money over time and have a higher rate of unemployment.
The state of Minnesota has removed one more barrier to getting a GED, and that's the cost. Reporter Shannon Slatton explains why.
For Clifton Fulmer, work and family demands always seem to get in the way of getting his high school diploma.
I was working, constantly working, coming from a one-parent home, so work was really the main thing.
But when he heard the state was offering free GED testing for a limited time,
first test, get it free, I say take advantage of it, so I took advantage of the situation.
He jumped on board and hopes to be ready to graduate by June before continuing his education.
It's a big deal. It's a huge deal.
Adult education programs like the one offered through Robbinsdale schools hope the state paying for GED testing brings people back to take the test. It's a far cry from when students rushed to get the test in the fall of 2013. They wanted to take the test before the nature of the questions changed and before the test moved entirely to the computer. When the new test began in early 2014, numbers went down in a big way.
A lot of challenges came up all at the same time. It was like the perfect storm of things happening. And so GED testing across the nation went down 85%. And so we followed the same pattern.
The state will pay for the test until funds run out. Students can also take any prep classes for free too. All good incentives for people to do what they might have been putting off.
Getting some sort of high school credential can really improve your chances of getting a job, keeping a job, getting a better income. All the studies show that it's essential to improve your life for you and your family.
In Golden Valley, Shannon Slatton, 12 News.
The adult academic program is one of the Robbinsdale programs moving to the Crystal Shopping Center this summer. Classes are expected to begin there this fall.
The Brooklyn Center and Brooklyn Park residents will have a chance to help out area youth by paying a little more on their monthly utility bill. The Opt-in for Kids program gives residents the option of paying $1, $2, $5, or $10 extra each billing cycle. The money raised goes to after-school and summer programs. In 2014, 61% of kids in Brooklyn Center and Brooklyn Park were not involved in these types of activities.
We know that we've got a bigger problem to solve around making sure that all young people can access after-school programs, because we know that they help kids graduate, get on a pathway to college, and that supports working families. Right now, the opt-in funds help us start. It's a beginning. These micro grants are a beginning way to bring resources into that after-school periods.
Belle Plaine is the only other Minnesota city to try a pilot project like this. The United Way has pledged to match the first $5,000 raised in the program. There's a brand new store that opened its doors in Maple Grove, and it specializes in a cake made famous by a Minnesota company.
We are talking about the Bundt cake, which first came on the scene in the 1950s. In this week's Business Matters, it's all about the Bundt cake at this new Maple Grove shop.
It takes me back to being in my grandmother's kitchen.
Jessica Johnson knows there's something about the Bundt cake that has the power to bring back memories.
When you walk in the front door, you smell the baking that's happening. It's just a little time warp.
Johnson is one of 3 co-owners of the new Nothing Bundt Cake store in Maple Grove.
It is a little bit of an adventure for us, but once people eat the cake, they're hooked.
The Las Vegas-based franchise is expanding into the metro with 6 locations so far. And it's fitting, considering Minnesota company Nordic Ware trademarked the famous Bundt pan more than 60 years ago.
For the last couple years, my sister and I have been visiting the location in Eden Prairie and fell in love with the cake, in love with just the whole feel of the store.
Co-owners and sisters Bianca Janik and Tasha Norden decided to open their own store after buying the cakes repeatedly for gifts and events at the 2 private preschools they also own.
A Bundt cake will work for any occasion. It will work from an individual sweet treat to a family gathering to showers, corporate events, weddings, gift giving.
With 11 different cake flavors and different sizes, from the bite-sized Bundtinis to the Buntlet and the 10-inch cake, this store is banking on the power of the Bundt.
Best cake I've ever had.
And on customers such as Rebecca Sampson.
Honestly, it doesn't compare. Like, it's hands down the best cake I've ever had.
The future bride has sampled plenty of cakes, but she got hooked on Bundtinis at a recent wedding fair.
It's something to remember. Everyone's like, you won't remember the cake. I'm like, you'll remember this cake.
In the store, there's always free samples, so you can take a bite of this traditional favorite that's proved it has staying power.
Something that you celebrate with everyone.
Nothing Bundt Cakes is celebrating its grand opening this weekend in Maple Grove with special events starting on Friday. And for more information about those events, you can go to our website, 12.tv. Coming up, a Champlin Park team with an impressive ear for music.
Then later in sports, a new head coach will lead Park Center into the 2016 high school baseball season.
But first, stuck in the 40s, temperatures remain cool throughout the week. Welcome back. How well do you know the songs that you listen to on a daily basis?
Well, maybe you know the lyrics, but could you identify the title of the song, the composer, or other, say, trivial information about the piece? And what about music that's centuries old? As Delane Cleveland reports, it's a skill that 3 local students from Champlin Park have mastered.
The soothing sounds of string instruments reverberate through the halls of Champlin Park High School. But in this class of talented musicians are 3 students who are so in tune to music
Egmont for real? Egmont for real.
that they've developed a skill to identify pieces composed hundreds of years ago,
The harpsichord concerto.
played and stored,
J.S. Bach.
of course, on 21st century technology.
This is Orpheus in the Underworld.
They're so talented and they are brilliant. They're on the robotics club and doing all kinds of different things too.
Solo e pensoso.
Siglinda Grivna coaches this talented trio, consisting of seniors Maria Ariola, Jake Coonan, and Catherine Lamont. Together, they make up Champlin Park's music listening team.
The music listening team is a group of 3 students that study for the music listening contest, and this contest spans the history of music from the Renaissance to, even before Renaissance, yeah.
In other words, they study Western art music covering a span of 1,000 years.
Mozart's clarinet concerto.
Then they test their knowledge against other high school teams from across Minnesota.
It's not just identifying the piece. You have to know a lot of trivia about it, so that was something we did.
Some of their motivation comes from the fact that the students also happen to enjoy the music from the time period.
It helps, because if you don't like it, you won't want to listen to it, and if you don't listen to it, you can't identify it.
Starting in January, the team used every free moment to brush up on the study guide and listen to the accompanying CD recordings.
They made timelines, they made flashcards, they quizzed each other.
I know Maria deleted all the music off of her phone that wasn't music listening competition music, so she would force herself to listen to it.
All of that hard work paid off. In the case next to the cafeteria sits the trophy they won for being Minnesota's 2016 music listening champions, beating out more than 20 teams at the state competition in February.
It was very awesome.
In the process, they leave behind a legacy as they close out their senior year. At Champlin Park, Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
This is the first music listening championship for Champlin Park High School. For winning the state contest, the students received medals and tickets to go see the Minnesota Orchestra. A little bit like Name That Tune.
Right. Prior to the Renaissance, right?
Coming up, 49 and feeling fine at Osseo area schools.
But first, highlights from the Minnesota Boys Basketball All-Star Series. John Jacobson has that and more when we come back.
The Minnesota Basketball Coaches Association All-Star Series brought together 40 of the top boys basketball players from the class of 2016 for a 2-day, 4-game event. Demario Armstrong, #1 in gold, playing on the gold All-Star team in the 3rd-place game against the Blue All-Stars. And Armstrong follows up the miss here, and he gives his team an early lead. Apple Valley's Cameron Kirksey is a good one. He lays in 2 more for the gold team. They lead by 3. Later in the first half, Colton Lambert of Caledonia open in the corner for a 3-pointer. Gold All-Stars build a 16-point lead. Stefan Mosaki from Rogers takes the pass, dunks home 2 to pull the Blue All-Stars back to within 8 points. Second half, and the gold team in transition. Matt Keller of Elk River to Ethan Novosinski of St. Cloud of Powell for the lay-in. Gold leads 77-59. Vinny Shahid, #9 in the Blue All-Stars, gets an assist here. Chris Olson of Bram with the basket. They're back to within 8, but the Gold All-Stars finish it off. Armstrong with a great dunk here. And the Gold All-Stars take 3rd place, 127-107 the final. In the championship game, the Maroon All-Stars face the Blue All-Star team. Sam Jones of De La Salle, the Melvin Newbern of Cooper for the layup, and a 12-10 Maroon lead. Future Gophers basketball teammates on the break here. Amir Coffey of Hopkins, Michael Hurd of Rochester, John Marshall ends with the alley-oop to Coffey for 2. Maroon leads by 10. Then Coffey will pass to Joey Cordum, who gets the one-handed reverse dunk for 2 more. Maroon team up by 16. Second half, and #2 for the Green All-Stars, Alan Anderson of Osseo. He'll drive and score to bring his team back to within a dozen points. Brady Kuchinka of Lake City drains a long 3 for the Green, but they fall short in this game. Maroon All-Stars featuring Coffey and Newbern win the title. 132-116 is the final. The Park Center baseball team failed to win a game last season, but with a new head coach, the Pirates are optimistic they'll have a better run this spring. Here's Jason Malillo.
There's no way to sugarcoat it. 2015 was a dismal season for Park Center baseball. but what's done is done, and the Pirates aren't looking back. PC returns a lot of experienced players that are hopefully more ready to compete on the varsity level.
The positive thing is everyone has experience now going into this year, so use that experience and try to play the best of your ability every game and hopefully change this program around because we have the talent to do it, I feel like.
And Park Center could get a boost with longtime assistant coach Nathan Johnson taking over as head coach.
I know the parents, they know me, the administration, and then obviously the biggest thing is the players. There's a familiarity with how I coach, how I talk, how I communicate, what the expectations are on and off the field.
He's been around the program, so we know his coaching style, we know how his practices run, and I feel like there's not a lot of downtime in practice. So I feel like we'll be ready to go for the season, and we know how we coach us, so we'll be ready.
For the Pirates, everything will start with pitching and defense, and they'll have two solid starters in Dan Hansen and Kyle Schnobrick. Jason Malillo, 12 Sports.
Park Center opens the season Friday at Irondale. The first home game is April 12th against Spring Lake Park. One big change in high school baseball this spring, the addition of a fourth class. Many of the teams we cover on Channel 12 will play a lot of the same opponents at playoff time, but there are some changes. Here's a look at the local teams in the new Class 4A. Park Center, Champlin Park, and Totino Grace are the local teams in Section 5 4A. Also in that 8-team section, Centennial, Coon Rapids, Irondale, Mounds View, and Spring Lake Park. Section 6 4A includes Armstrong, Cooper, Hopkins, and Wayzata. They're joined by South, Southwest, and Washburn from the Minneapolis City Conference, plus St. Louis Park. Maple Grove and Osseo move into Section 8 4A with Rogers, Brainerd, Buffalo, Elk River, Moorhead, and St. Michael, Albertville. So we'll see how that all plays out for baseball this spring.
Okay, thanks a lot, John. Still ahead, Osseo area schools celebrate life before 50.
We'll explain when we come back.
And finally, we aren't 50 just yet.
Well, at least not some of us anyway. The 49th annual Wastebasket Revue talent show put on by teachers and staff from Osseo area schools is called 49 and Feeling Fine. You're looking at last year's show. Performances start this Thursday and continue through the weekend at Park Center High School. Shows then move the following weekend over to Maple Grove High School. Money raised from the shows fund scholarships for graduating seniors. And that's always
It is. The teachers and the staff do such a great job
that's
over
a
there.
hoot. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. That's it for now. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
We will see you back here again tomorrow.